Thank you to our Season 2 presenting sponsor, Hunterdon Health. We're honored this episode is an official Revolution NJ partner. Today, we're taking a journey through New Jersey's health history. We'll explore how a bold public health decision during the Revolutionary War helped change the course of history, how generations of families cared for illness long before modern medicine, and how plants have supported our well-being for centuries and still do today.
Here, we're highlighting the people, places, and resources in New Jersey helping us live our healthiest lives. This is Healthy in the Garden State.
New Jersey played a critical role in the Revolutionary War. Its land a battlefield, a place of encampment, and a vital roadway for troops on the move. But as armies moved, something else moved with them, a threat that didn't follow orders or borders, and the battle against it may have shaped the outcome of the war itself.
We are honored to have Janet Foster here, who is an architectural historian, a local New Jersey expert, and a member here at the Presbyterian Church of Morristown. So Janet, can you set the stage a bit for us about where we are in the Revolutionary War and what's happening here at the church?
In 1777, George Washington is coming off a stream of victories. The Washington crossing the Delaware, which we all know about, the attack on the Hessians and British in Trenton at Christmas time, the Battle of Princeton right after New Year's, and now it's cold winter, and he is looking for a place for his troops to rest and train, and he comes up here to Morristown to camp for several months. When George Washington came here, the Green, which is still here, was the center of town. On one corner of the Green was Arnold's Tavern, a very popular tavern, meeting spot, public space. George Washington stayed there in January 1777, and 3 days after he arrived, a woman in Morristown died of smallpox. And smallpox is a very contagious viral disease. Washington is living a few doors from the Widow Ball, and he begins to get a little concerned about all these troops massing in one place and smallpox, which truly was a plague in 18th century America. Washington thought and was encouraged to inoculate the troops. And although he had it and was immune, he could see how this could spread very dramatically, particularly in a situation now where there is a civilian population and troops coming in and they're mixing together. Washington was very concerned that the British could not kill as many people as smallpox could if this were to get loose and run through the camp. So he did order inoculation, mandatory inoculation. There are letters that show his correspondence with physicians in New York and Philadelphia and Boston about this. And although initially Washington was a little reluctant to put the troops through this, he decided there was evidence that this was going to help more people than it would harm. In order to do this, after you get intentionally infected with smallpox, you're going to get sick. So the Army requisitioned a lot of places to be smallpox hospitals, i.e. recovery centers. It sort of proves that that kind of public health effort, it's really very early public health effort, could work. In May 1777, Washington and his troops leave Morristown. They go off on fighting campaigns. They come back in 1778-79. And that year and a half, basically, over time that Washington and the troops were here made a huge impression on the people of the little village of Morristown. So the pastor of the Presbyterian Church, which was also here on the Green, really encouraged the civilian population to be inoculated as well, so that there was what we would now call herd immunity. By the end of the American Revolution, over 40,000 troops had been inoculated. This is the 1893 sanctuary.
Okay.
After the troops were here, it was in pretty bad shape, and they tore it down and built this one in its place
And this is
in 1893, and it's been restored. It is pretty gorgeous. The Washington Communion, 1777, and there is George Washington in his blue Continental Army uniform. He came to Pastor Johns and said, look, I'm a member of the Church of England because of that is still the official church, but I would really like to take communion. Is that okay? And some churches would have said, no, you have to be initiated as one of our church members to commune. And Pastor John said, it is not a Presbyterian table, but the Lord's table, and of course you are welcome.
For a greater deep dive into how so many years ago a mass inoculation played out, as well as to learn more about medical practices of the time, remember we're going back 250 years, let's take a quick trip over to the Schuyler Hamilton house where Dr. Jabez Campfield lived and worked.
Well, welcome to the Schuyler Hamilton house. This is the house of Dr. Jabez Campfield. During the Revolutionary War, he was a surgeon and the doctor who lived locally here. Our house here is owned by the Daughters of the American Revolution in Morristown. He then invited the Surgeon General to his home during the winter of 1780, but we're really going to talk about the medicine involved. So I have here a huge folio version of a 3-volume, we have one, medical encyclopedia that was the book to learn from at that time. And I have it opened, and the reason we have this volume is it is open to Variolae. Variolae is the Latin term for smallpox. And you can see how important it was to the society because it is page after page after page after page focused on variolae, on the smallpox. So trying to take care of this very virulent disease that could affect so many people was vital for our American Army. Vaccines work very differently than inoculations. Vaccines are dead virus. You cannot get the disease from a vaccine. An inoculation, you are expected to get the disease. You will get a very reduced form, you should be able to withstand it, and then you will be immune for the rest of your life. So let's look at some other medical equipment. Now this is a medical box that would have been a portable box. You could have strapped this on the back of a horse. I have here your simple surgical set. Now as a surgeon for the Army, Dr. Campfield would have had both of these things with him. And I say simple surgery, and yet you see a major saw.
I mean, I was thinking to myself, it doesn't look very simple at all.
Some major knives. But you also have a tourniquet. And this was simple surgery because when you were at war and a metal ball came at you like this, if it goes through your flesh, not such a problem. If it shatters a bone, big problem. Because you have a choice. I'm going to be removing the ball. Now, do you want me to reintroduce this to take out every single bone splinter? As I do that, I'm putting more and more germs into the hurt. So rather than do that, simple surgery was to take the leg or the arm.
From life or death issues to lesser things like a sore throat where they would grind herbs and flowers into pills, doctors treated a vast array of ailments while working with the best knowledge available at the time.
This was a turning point in the war and in how we protect one another. This choice to act for the sake of others didn't just help the Army, it helped shape the future of public health in America. This early example of public health in action reminds us that protecting our communities has always required courage, planning, and collaboration. Thank you to Janet and the Presbyterian Church of Morristown, and to Pat and the Schuyler Hamilton House for sharing your knowledge and insights.
Hunterdon Health knows when it comes to family, good health is everything. You can depend on us for checkups to keep your girl on the go and urgent care for your weekend warriors mishaps. So together you can enjoy the little moments that make life extraordinary.
From the battlefield medicine of Morristown, where smallpox inoculation was quietly shaping survival during the Revolutionary War, we now step into a different kind of medical history. At Liberty Hall, we take a look at care across the years. Generations of families here have treated illness, eased symptoms, and tried to prevent disease in ways that feel both surprising and familiar today. Liberty Hall is a living timeline of care across generations.
Kate, thanks so much for coming. We're so excited to have you here. We are the home of the first elected governor of the state of New Jersey, a man named William Livingston. That's this gentleman right here. He was born and raised in New York, and this was actually his retirement home.
Pretty huge retirement home.
Yes, it is indeed. It was smaller. It was smaller back then. Only 14 rooms when he first built. Only, right? Today, almost 50, 50, yes. One woman that I want to introduce you to is this woman right here. Her name is Christine Kane Griffin. She lived here in the early 1800s, and she is a fascinating woman because she actually was a nurse during the Civil War.
Okay, great.
So she volunteered for a commission called the U.S. Sanitary Commission, where they sent women to the front lines to work as nurses. And it was the first organization that actually trained women to be nurses for times of war. The organization that she volunteered for, the U.S. Sanitary Commission, was in many ways a precursor to the Red Cross. All right, so now we're at our medicine cabinet, which is all sorts of medicines found here at Liberty Hall, left behind by the Kane family members. So there are 3 that I want to point out because they're really interesting, and they might not look like what we have today, but we still have them today. So the first one is this chiropeptate. So you're probably like, what? I'm not sure I know what that is. You can still buy this in the store. It's usually in a blue bottle now, and not the brown one that we see here, but this is actually
Pepto-Bismol.
Yes, so this is Pepto-Bismol. It was originally created in the early 1900s, actually to treat infant cholera. And then the other one that I want to talk about is this Ephemist inhalant. It's described that you can either like drop it into your nose or like waft it and smell it, and it helps clear congestion, and it helps clear head colds. And so again, we still have over-the-counter medicines that'll help clear your congestion, help clear your head cold, right?
We're gonna play a game. I'm excited about this.
Yes.
So this is what you do when kids come on field trips too, right? Okay.
Yes. Can you match the colonial medicinal herb to what we use? Oh, I didn't pick up the right one. We need to find what we use it for in modern day, like what is its modern day equivalent. So,
okay. Aspirin. Okay, pain relief. Antibacterial ointment. Already forgotten what this was for. Scratches and scrapes.
Yay!
Yay! We got one. All right. Willow bark was used for pain relief like headaches, fever, and body aches. Aspirin.
Yes. All right, so let's explore our herb garden.
Excellent, Hannah.
So all colonists, they have an herb garden. These are really, really common. Of course, we don't have modern medicines, we don't have vaccines, we don't have antibiotics. So what does a colonist in the 1700s, like Mr. Livingston who lived here, what does he do? He grows plants. So let me introduce you to some of our favorite medicinal plants here in our herb garden. I'm actually gonna start right over here with our Colonial Band-Aids.
All right.
Yes, so this one right here, you can feel it, yep.
Lamb's ear.
Lamb's ear, yes. If someone gets a cut or a scratch, they would just simply pick a piece of lamb's ear and put it on the cut and tie it around with a string or a bandage. And lamb's ear actually has antiseptic qualities. Now, colonists didn't know this. They didn't understand why it worked. They just knew that it worked. So everybody grew lamb's ear because it was soft and fun and felt good on a cut. But it actually, just like exactly wrapping it around.
So soft.
This is healing you while it's also covering your wound.
Excellent.
A Colonial Band-Aid.
I love it.
Do you know what this is?
Absolutely. I have it at my house. Lavender.
Lavender, yes. It helps calm anxiety. It helps calm stress. It also helps calm an upset stomach.
Perfect.
So if you have an upset stomach, make yourself a cup of lavender tea. Will make you feel better, but also will make your mind feel better.
Nice. It's amazing so many of these things, you know, back then they were doing it, today we're still doing it.
Today we're still doing it, right? And it has both physical health benefits, but also those mental health benefits that we can see from what's all around us. Yes. Lavender also has a great smell, so we're gonna put it in lotions, we're gonna put it in soaps, we're gonna put it in perfumes. Even in the 1700s, we're doing that still today in 2026. And the 1700s, they were a smelly time. People did not bathe as regularly as we do. And then one more plant over here I want to show you is purple coneflower called echinacea. This is actually a plant that you can make a tea from, but the colonists learned this from the Native Americans.
So we're going to be talking about first aid kits of then and now.
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
So what does a first aid kit look like in the 1700s? What does a first aid kit look like today? 1700s, 18th century first aid kit is not very complicated. So we call these scent bags. Yes. Lavender.
Very
yes.
nice, very
yes.
nice.
So these are, if you're walking down the street and you don't want to smell the smelly person next to you, your little first aid kit. Also, even older than the 1700s, in the 1600s and 1500s, when we have the plague and these other diseases, you would carry these hung around your neck. And you might carry things like garlic in them, because garlic was meant to ward off evil spirits. But you know what? If you have garlic hanging around your neck, people might want to leave you alone anyway, because you would probably smell like garlic. So it's a dual purpose of keep away the evil spirits and also keeping the sick people away from you.
This smells much nicer.
It's much nicer indeed. Yes, you want to keep away the evil spirits. This is our 1700s. So now how do we get from 1700s? What's it look like today? Well, I'm going to step to this other table here, and this is the beginnings of a modern day first aid kit from the 21st century.
Great.
So all the things that you might need in your first aid kit, of course, we have hand sanitizer, we have gloves, and then we have large gauze pads. What do we use gauze pads for?
Cover the wounds.
Look at that, just like the lamb's ear
Yes.
in the garden.
Colonial Band-Aids.
Colonial Band-Aids.
Yes.
Well, speaking of colonial Band-Aids, real Band-Aids as well,
Right.
the modern day adhesive bandages. We also have alcohol pads, again, important to help clean things, cleaned wounds, clean your hands, clean supplies. Always good to have a little alcohol pad
Yes.
on hand. And then we have antibiotic ointment, and we also have hydrocortisone.
Okay, so today we are going to play with some games today. This is called Ball in a Cup. They weren't as creative with their names. The whole
Ball in a
purpose,
cup, all
you're trying
right.
to flick the ball to get it into the cup.
My son was just gifted something that is very similar to
Really?
this. So it's still going strong in 2026.
The purpose of the game is quite easy. You're just pushing it along with the stick. It's kind of easy on the grass, and you could even do races. Like we could race
Whoop,
along
as long
with
as I don't hit
this.
Oh.
It's all about balance. Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
There we go.
Rain or shine, movement as medicine is one of the oldest tools we have that is still going strong today. Caitlin and Hannah, thank you so much for sharing these insights into the health of our predecessors. And it is so clear that be it then or now, the intention always remains that caring for one another using the resources available to us. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Next, we'll dive deeper into the connections between plants and medicine that are still very much alive today. Long before pharmacies, fitness apps, or modern medicine, people turned to the earth. From forests to fields to the sea to the home garden, plants formed the foundation of early medicine, many of which continue to influence how we think about health today. Here at Rutgers Gardens, we're exploring that connection, how plants supported our health in the past, how they continue to shape wellness today, and what they may offer for the future. Along the way, we'll share some simple ideas for creating your own health-forward garden and incorporating more plants into your life. So Lauren, tell us about the history of Rutgers Gardens.
So the history is fascinating, Kate. It came to the university first as land intended for fruit and vegetable research. So this was in 1916, and the original focus was on blueberries, peaches, tomatoes. And the university was researching these different fruits and vegetables to provide more information on evidence-based practices for how to manage pests and disease and really amplify the growing of these different fruits and vegetables.
And as New Jersey changed, so did the mission of Rutgers Gardens.
We saw a change in what was actually needed in the state with time as New Jersey became more and more suburbanized, especially after World War II. As the state really started to suburbanize, there became a need for landscape plants.
Healthy communities aren't shaped only by medicine. They're also influenced by the spaces we live in, the plants around us, and our connection to the outdoors.
Fast forward to today, We are now a public botanical garden, open to visitors year-round. We've also sort of come full circle and returned to our roots, so to speak, in terms of connecting with vegetables. So in 2016, about 10 years ago, we welcomed the Rutgers Gardens student farm on site. And so the student farm is a place for not only our agricultural students, but students of any major discipline, interest area to focus on sustainable and organic food production here on site.
The history of Rutgers Gardens is still growing. Today, every path, garden, and growing space reflects more than a century of changing ideas about food, community, and health.
Excellent. This is just gorgeous. I mean, acres upon acres upon acres.
Our 2 oversized Adirondack chairs.
Huge.
The Adirondack chairs date back to the industrial age when people who are living in cities may have been experiencing respiratory or other type of ailments, and their physicians said, go to the country, go north, go to the mountains, go to the Adirondacks. Hence the Adirondack chair became symbolic of that time spent in nature, spent in the outdoors as part of people's healing journeys. So we're here in the rain garden, and this garden is designed to showcase native plants that thrive in shady conditions, in wet conditions. It's situated down sort of in this hollowed area so that water naturally flows to this area. And here we have one of my favorite medicinal plants, the elderberry, which is a water-loving plant. I'm going to pull this down just so you can see this elderberry is in bloom right now. So the elder flowers have a traditional medicinal use as a fever reliever, actually. So people would make a tea with the elder flowers. And then we're a little early for the berry harvest, but you can see the fruits are just starting to set.
Sure.
And so these will turn into a dark purple berry that is rich in antioxidants. So elderberry is a great example of a traditional medicinal plant that was used early on in early American history. And now you can find elderberry products in the store or at the farmer's market.
Yes.
So you might find elderberry syrups, elderberry honeys, dried elderberries in tea blends. So it's really a plant that has stood the test of time. There's a food and a medicine component to wellness, but also the sensory experience of how do we feel, what are we hearing, what are we seeing? So we think about the aesthetics often, but the sounds of the garden are also something that can be very soothing, very meditative, encourage contemplation, reflection, and so that's a really nice feature to be able to add in here, but also at a home garden.
So now we're walking into the Pollinator garden. So Lauren, what are some things we want to be thinking about here?
So pollinator gardens are really important because they're going to provide some of the basic foundations for pollinator food, but also habitat. So thinking about throughout the season, having plants blooming that provide nectar, that provide pollen, all across the spectrum of the summer months are going to feed different pollinators that emerge at different times. So looking at a few things that we have here, echinacea is, I think about this as sort of the gateway medicinal plant, right? So a lot of people have heard of echinacea. This is one that's relatively popular. Again, you can find echinacea teas, you can find echinacea tinctures and different products relatively frequently in the marketplace. But this is a plant with a long-standing history of medicinal uses. So people traditionally would think about echinacea as an immune support plant for general wellness. The leaves, the flowers, and also the roots have been used over time. So depending on the different stage of the plant, you might harvest different parts. Bee balm is in the Monarda genus. Both of these plants have a long history as being used for cough and cold relief, sort of a respiratory tonic. The leaves are often used to make a tea, and the flowers can go in as well. If you pick a leaf, you can kind of crush it up a little bit and smell it.
Oh, I wish you could smell it at home.
It's almost like an oregano, right?
Yeah.
It's like a little bit peppery, a little bit sweet. So you can picture if you were to make a tea with this, it has that little bit of like a sweet, spicy, so if you're congested, you can picture how that might sort of just help you feel a little bit better.
Absolutely.
This is in the mint family, which you can tell by the square stem. So we think about mint family plants as having a lot of these volatile oils, some of which have been shown to have antibacterial, antifungal properties. So when we think about plant medicine and how the traditional uses of the plants align with the science, some of the scientific studies look at those specific compounds to see what's actually helpful from an evidence-based perspective. And so that can inform how we're using some of these plants going forward. All right, I brought us some harvesting tools for this morning.
Thank
so
you.
pruners and baskets. So I'm going to introduce you to Yarrow.
Okay, here we go.
So yarrow is interesting because this is a common landscape plant, again, with traditional medicinal roots. And so what we have in this section of our floral garden are actually two varieties of yarrow. So same genus, same species. The white yarrow, which is shorter in this instance, is more the classic sort of traditional medicinal plant that has been used over the years. Makes a great cut flower, which is why we have it here in our floral garden. From a traditional medicinal standpoint, yarrow was used as a fever reliever. So yarrow tea would be something that could be used in moderation. So I think about medicinal plants sort of along a continuum. Some are exceptionally safe. Some have a little bit more caution required with using them. So yarrow is one that I think about as something to use either made as part of a pre-formulated product that you might find, or to use sparingly. But I think the history is really interesting. The yarrow leaves have styptic properties, meaning they can help to staunch bleeding. So traditionally, the leaves were something that were used for cuts, scrapes, even battlefield wounds when nothing else was available early on in American history. So we're walking through our basil patch in the student farm, and one of the things about the student farm is that we're no-till. So we try to do everything by hand. We really preserve our soil integrity by walking outside of the planting beds.
Oh, I love basils. Yeah, this has to be my favorite herb.
A lot of our culinary herbs are in the mint family. They contain a lot of volatile oils and chemical compounds that are antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal. And so some of the original uses of these medicinal herbs were actually in food preservation. So early Americans would wrap food, meats, cheeses, different things in leaves from herbs to help capture some of those medicinal properties or those preservation properties, and plus they got a great flavor.
Oh yes,
so,
they do.
Sage, rosemary, thyme, basil, all really great choices for things like that.
From the gardens to the farmer's market, we can see how these plants make their journey from the ground to fresh produce and locally crafted products.
So now we're speaking with Jenny, who is a student here at Rutgers. Jenny, can you please share about your major and how you got connected to the student farm here?
Yeah, of course. So I'm a PhD student in the Women's Gender and Sexuality Studies department. I've been working here at the student farm at Rutgers Gardens since 2023. Really seeing how much labor goes into it and how much care goes into growing the food really makes me want to use it as well as possible and make sure that any extra food we have on the farm too also goes to good use, whether that's through donation or through what we sell here at the market. Getting to see where your food comes from, coming to farmers markets like this and getting to see who grows your food really changes your relationship to what you eat and where you live as well. So I know there are a number of barriers to food access for different populations, but to the extent that we can, being able to shop at farmers markets and meet local growers is really special.
We have students who are interested from all different departments. They come from both our School of Environmental and Biological Sciences, but also other campuses, other programs at Rutgers. And so we have students that are interested in food because they just want to learn how to grow it, but also they may want to do that as their career choice. So we kind of have a mix of both.
You know, we're talking about tomatoes and potatoes, cucumbers, things where it's not just you put it in the ground and then eventually it, you know, is harvested. There's so many steps in between, from seeding it to harvesting it.
Emily, what have you created here?
Well, I like to call it a traveling apothecary.
And how did you learn about incorporating plants into the products you sell?
So I started as a researcher. That's my job. That's my full-time job. And my favorite question is why. So I want to know. I look things up. And I was able to marry what I learned as a child with my family, with my scientific background. So, you know, it's very nice to see where traditional herbal wisdom has, the science has finally caught up. My calendula chamomile balm, so it's a good all-around work workhorse, we'll call it. I grow both the calendula and chamomile. I do use local beeswax. I let it do a cold infusion. It's very good for any kind of, rough skin, anything like that. You can smell the chamomile in it.
As we've seen throughout this episode, from medicinal plants used centuries ago to modern advances and adaptations, our understanding of health has continually evolved. Yet some of our oldest tools remain among the most powerful.
Thanks for joining me today on this journey through health history. Be sure to click that subscribe button and visit healthyinthegardenstate.com for more health-related New Jersey content. Extra thanks to our official partner for this episode, Revolution NJ, and to Lauren and the whole team here at Rutgers Gardens. Here's to living our healthiest lives in the Garden State. Special thanks to our season sponsor, Hunterdon Health.
We're honored this episode is an official Revolution NJ partner.